everybody, it's me, Ghost Funny, and today we're going to be reading KinnPorsche. We're currently now on Volume 2, Chapter 19. Wow, last chapter was quite exciting. We ran down a mountain, we got shot, a lot of things happened. Poor Porsche. Porsche has gone through a lot. He has gone through the woodworks. By the way, how do you guys feel about potentially me doing like a reaction to KinnPorsche the series? Because I watched it when it came out, but it's been a while since I watched it. And I was thinking maybe I should do like a reaction, but I don't know. I don't know if anyone's interested in that. Pero, where was I? Oh yeah, I was giving my disclaimers. You guys notice that I speak English, but when it comes to reading, for some reason, I forget that I speak English because I stumble on words. I swear, I'm trying my very best to read it. So if you guys are following me, you guys could be like, and if you guys aren't, you don't get like lost or confused, but it's an attempt. I'm not the best public speaker, as you guys can so obviously see. But you know what? Enough of that yapping. Let's begin on chapter 19, Lost. Oh, we're still lost. Okay, let us begin. Okay? A la one, a la two, a la 1, 2, 3. The sky began to brighten. I had no idea what time it was or how long I had slept. The only thing I knew was that I felt much better compared to yesterday, at least. My muscles still ached, but I had more energy. Are you awake? A sleepy voice asked from behind me. I felt Kinn rustling around as he held me in his arms. Did you sleep well? I hummed in reply. I didn't want to admit it, but Kinn's body was warming me up quite nicely. Get up then, you're giving me cramps, Kinn said. Let go of me then, I scoffed. I managed to pry his hands off and quickly pushed myself away from him. Kinn chuckled and sat up. After stretching for a couple of moments, he got up to retrieve his shirt and tossed mine to me. I quickly put it on, and even though it was still slightly damp, Kinn turned as if to leave the cave. Where are you going? I asked. It's still cloudy, but I'm going to look around, he replied. You wait here, I'll be right back. I remained silent, my eyes lingering on his broad back as he vanished from my sight. Kinn had held me the entire night as we slept, and it felt like lying on a soft bed with a warm blanket wrapped around me. It was a comforting feeling. I couldn't deny that Kinn might be the reason why my fever broke. The fire pit had completely burned down, so I began looking for dried leaves to cover it. We needed to find a way out of this forest today. I didn't know whether we were, or how deep in the trees we had run. I was afraid we might be trapped. What should I do? The thought should have freaked me out, but I wasn't too worried. I had Kinn with me. At least I wasn't alone. Always look at the bright side of life. He said, going into psychosis. After emerging from the cave, I tried looking for Kinn, but he was nowhere in sight. I wondered if he had run away and left me, stranded in the middle of the forest. That evil bastard. He must have thought I was a burner because I was sick and ditched me to save his own ass. That son of a... I started looking for a way out, my eyes darting left and right as I went. Scrape. I paused, scrunching my brow. I thought I heard the faint sound of wood scraping and water running nearby. I was reluctant to rush toward the sound, but I wanted to check if it was Kinn. Maybe he'd run into our pursuer while looking for a way out and got hurt. That man could be so damn stupid. Sometimes, Jesus. I needed to go check on him. If he hadn't been at least killed already, I could at least put an end to his misery. I found Ken preoccupied with a tree branch. He appeared to be sharpening the end of it using a rock. Weird. I stopped in front of him. What the hell are you doing? Ken ignored me, his attention still fixed on wilting the stick. Hungry? He asked. Oh, no shit, duh. Yes, I replied. All right, give me a minute, he said. There's a stream over there. Why don't you go clean up? I nodded and proceeded in the direction he indicated. Although his actions still baffled me, I stopped myself from questioning him further. He seemed deeply concentrated on whatever he was doing, and I didn't want to interrupt. Not only was Ken sharpening the tip of the branch, he was also lifting the scrutinizing the stick at a variety of angles. He repeated this awkward maneuver again and again and again. What on earth was he doing anyways? Jeez. I think he's going into psychosis. Kneeling at the bank of the small stream, I splashed cold water on my face. Despite the chill, the water was refreshing. Splash, splash. I looked up toward the sound. Ken was staring intensely into the stream, clutching his sharpened branch as he repeatedly jabbed his makeshift spear into the water. I glared at him, my brows knitting tightly together in bewilderment. I couldn't ignore his strange behavior any longer. What the hell are you doing? Catching fish, duh, Ken replied without looking at me. He kept his gaze fixed on the stream and stabbed his spear into the water. Huh? Why do you want to catch fish? I asked, genuinely curious. Because we're stranded in a forest? What will we eat if we don't catch fish? Haven't you played a survival game before? Ken gamer confirmed. Also loser. Come on, y'all know survival games. You have to get the bear. I have not played survival games. I don't know. I'm talking. Yeah. Why did I read that weirdly? Ken's answer surprised me. I bit back my laughter at how awkward he looked. I can imagine. And being like, coming to the realization that Ken was just as crazy as Tankun, only better at hiding it. Yeah, no, I can see it. I can see it. I was speechless. Did their parents raise them in a glass dome or something? How did he expect to catch anything by vigorously stabbing the water like that? The fish would have to be idiots to get caught. At first I wanted to catch a chicken. But I searched for a while and I didn't see any. So fish will have to do. Just wait a bit. I almost spat out the water I was drinking from the stream. Was Angkor the last TV drama he watched? Damn, he's testing my patience. Let's see the little note. The little footnote here says, Angkor is a Thai action fantasy TV drama. One of its memorable scenes features a character grilling chicken in a forest. Oh, that's where he got the whole, I was looking for a chicken in a forest. Was he looking for a forest chicken? A relative of the mountain chicken. If you get that reference. I left the stream and headed to a nearby banana tree. I picked one and peeled it, observing Ken as I ate. Wait, there was a banana tree? Also known as a palm tree? And Ken's first instinct was to look for a chicken? My king, are you stupid? There's bananas, and you were like, you really are a carnivore, because you couldn't just go for the banana first. That's an easy prey. It doesn't move. Continuing, I had to say that I admired his dedication, but I couldn't stop laughing at his serious expression. I never expected Ken, a meticulously dressed snob, to reveal such a crazy side of himself. When it became apparent that Ken would persist for quite a while, I decided to sit on a nearby rock, enjoying my banana, which apparently he didn't see, and watching as if I were at a comedy show. Ugh! I can't see any fish! Ken grumbled in frustration. What are you jabbing at then? I asked with a chuckle. Ken looked so ridiculous. I suppressed my laughter. I tried. I really did try. I swear I'm trying. As much as I could, but some inevitably slipped out. Lol. I saw some ripples in the water and thought it was a fish. Damn it! Ken cursed, throwing the branch into the water and giving up. He turned towards me with a sour face and asked, "What the hell are you eating?" I sighed and pointed to the banana tree. Why didn't you tell me there was a banana tree? Ken groaned and headed in my direction. You said you wanted to eat fish, and I didn't want to discourage you. I said, taking another bite of my very delicious banana. Ken plucked a fruit from the tree and started eating it. Why is it so easy to catch fish in games, but not in real life? He mumbled. I almost choked. Ken, you're absolutely Tonkin's brother. No DNA test needed. Unbelievable, I murmured. Let's finish eating. We still need to find a way out of here. The sky is overcast. If it rains again, we're fucked, Ken said, tossing away his banana peel. The peel nearly hit me in the head, that fucking jerk. Do you remember the way we came? I asked. Ken seemed deep in thought. He looked around and counted on his fingers before finally replying, I think. He said as a fucking liar. He lied. Straight through his pearly white teeth. Don't just say I think, dipshit, I swore internally. I remembered warning Ken last night before he ran that it was dark and he should be careful. He clearly ignored me. Is your fever gone? Ken placed his hand against my forehead to check my temperature. I was slightly taken aback, but remained still until Ken lifted his hand away. I didn't know why his touch made my heart skip a beat, but I tried not to overthink shit like that. Let's just pretend that never happened, guys. It seems to have gone down. Shall we get going then? Ken said. We finished eating the banana, and I waited as Ken completely Jesus, can I read? We finished eating the bananas, and I waited as Ken completed whatever calculation he was making in his head. I don't know, he's probably doing something. I could see the little monkey with the little like plates in their hands going. You know the one? I'll probably have to put an image here. But you can see it, right? I can see that in his brain. Where was I? Blah, blah. Okay, yeah, the little monkey in his head. He then began leading us down a path that he swore was the right way out. I didn't have any objections. After all, I was unconscious the night before, so I literally did not remember a thing. Are you sure this is the right way? I asked, standing with my hands on my hips. I was starting to doubt whether we'd ever make it out alive. Ken wandered around aimlessly, taking 3 steps forward and 4 steps back. He kept turning left and then right and then left again until my head spun. Just trust me, bro. Just trust me. I recognize this tree, Ken said, pointing at a large tree. Yeah, I think you do recognize it. We passed by it like 5 different times. I'll trust you. I frowned at him wearily. Yeah, I scoffed. It's because we've walked past it 3 times already, dumbass. Oh, so it was right. I was right. Of course you recognize the street, you dumb idiot. We passed it like 3 different times. That asshole pretended like he knew what he was doing, but he was failing miserably. If I'd known it would turn out like this, I would have just let those guys take us. At least it might have been easier to escape and survive. Right now, it felt like we were lost in a maze. An episode of Lost featuring Kin and Porsche. Who will survive? Nobody. Well, if we keep heading north, we'll find a way out, Ken said, and continued forward. Humor me. Which way is north? I asked. This way? Ken pointed ahead. I let out a heavy sigh, feeling the urge to scream at him surging inside of me. How the hell do you know? I yelled, stopping in my tracks. The sky was so murky that it was impossible to tell which was what, north, south. I knew Ken was just making shit up. Come on, let's keep moving, Ken said, dismissing my objection. I wondered how far we needed to keep going. I feared we would wander deeper into the forest instead of finding our way out. Ken seemed equally frustrated that the situation had not turned out the way he planned. He was definitely the type of guy to get mad when things were out of his control. Yeah, we've known him good enough to know that that is actually true. Lost in thought, I followed Ken without paying attention to our surroundings. When Ken abruptly stopped, I walked right into his broad back, and almost fell backwards. Fortunately, Ken managed to grab my wrist and keep me upright. Shit, why didn't you tell me you were going to stop? I grumbled at him. I was frustrated and exhausted. It was hot outside, and we've been walking all day and with no progress at all. And the Thai heat, I've heard it's quite, yikes. Why should I? You're the one not watching where you're going. Disgruntled by his harsh reply, I tried to pull my wrist away from his grasp. Let me go, I said, but Ken tightened his grip. Let me hold your hand. It might jog my memory. Hurry up! Ken held my wrist and dragged me behind him. I tried to free myself several times to no avail. Eventually, I grew tired of fighting him and decided to save my energy for walking. Shall we try running? Ken turned to ask me. It might help me remember. I huffed annoyed. He didn't remember the way after all. I'm not gonna run. I'm exhausted. Ken chuckled at my answer and continued to irritate me. I'm going to turn right, he announced before taking a right turn. Turning left, he said before turning left. Now I'm going straight. Why are you telling me? I yelled in exhaustion. Aw, I didn't want you to complain that I didn't tell you where I was going. He replied cheerfully. I started to wonder if he really wanted to find a way out of here or if he was just wanting to piss me off. We continued on our journey, my legs growling. We continued on our journey, my legs growing tired and my throat drying up. I was worn out. I kept focusing on the path ahead, helping Ken look where to go. I didn't notice when Ken let go of my wrist and firmly took my hand instead. I unconsciously tightened my grip, not resisting him. Having your hand held when you were nervous was comforting. It calmed me down and assuaged. I have no idea what that word means. My fears. Oh, I think I might calmed my fears. Why use big words? I'm just a small Puerto Rican kid. I don't know shit. Ken, just admit it. You don't know where we're going, I finally snapped, pulling him to a stop. You're such a crybaby, Ken said, his lips curving into a smirk. In my entire life, I'd never witnessed and I never whined at anyone as much as I did to Ken. He constantly annoyed the shit out of me, asshole. Do you remember the way? Huh? I asked sharply. Come on, just keep walking. Ken dismissed me. That jerk. However, he seemed to have accepted the fact that we were lost. Where are you trying to go. Don't you see we've looped back to where we started twice? I growled. We walked all day, only to end up right back where we started. The stream in front of us was the same one I'd used to wash my face that morning. The forest was growing dark. I was astounded at our ability to walk all day and yet get absolutely nowhere. Fine. We'll rest here one more night and try again tomorrow. Ken said. I swore I would be the one to look for a way out tomorrow. I wasn't gonna let Ken lead again. Let me go, I said, yanking my hand from his. Ken smiled at me. I thought you would never let go. Oh, I thought you'd never let me go, he teased. This derelict, lost in the forest Ken was utterly different from the snobbish Ken I knew. I could see the difference in his actions and expressions. This version of Ken seemed more playful, although he still managed to get on my everlasting nerves. I'm starving, I exclaimed, plucking a banana from the same tree as before. If banana trees could talk, it would have asked why I came back to eat from it again. Damn it. This was all Ken's fault. What an idiot. I'm hungry, Ken said, rubbing his belly and coming to stand next to me. Okay, then eat, I replied, irritated. I'm tired of bananas. I want to eat something else, Ken said, looking around. Picky, I muttered. We were barely surviving in the forest, and Ken dared to be finicky about food. It was unbelievable. I get bored easily. I don't like eating the same thing twice in a row. What are you, my sister? She's like that too. She eats rice today and she can't eat rice tomorrow. Because I already ate rice yesterday. Ken, don't be my sister. Eat what you have. Aprovecha. Don't be kikis-mikis. Kikis-mikis, Ken. Oh my god. Kinky-mikis. Haha. That joke makes no sense to people. At all. It just makes sense to me. Which makes it funny because I'm my target audience. What was I doing? What was I saying? Oh yeah. I were judging Ken. Where was I? How did I get lost again? Oh yeah, he got bored of the same food twice in a row. He's like my sister. Ken replied, nonchalant. It was true, though. Judging from his previous behavior, he was precisely the kind of guy who got bored quickly. What are you even going to eat then? Fish? Chicken? I asked wearily, not knowing what Ken was thinking. Nah, I'm gonna eat that, Ken said, pointing at a tall tree with dense leaves and red fruit. I squinted at it, wondering what kind of tree it was. Before I could say anything, Ken kicked off his shoe and awkwardly began to climb the tree. I couldn't believe my eyes. Ken really was as crazy as Tankun, just more pretentious. I only hope that Ken, the youngest of the family, was not as screwy as his older brothers. Oh wait, Kim. Oh yeah, we hope Kim isn't as crazy. We hope. Ken grabbed at the branches and flung himself up into the tree. He was so ungainly that I couldn't hold back my laughter. Look, I tried. I swear I did try. All this time, his serious and stern demeanor must have been an act he put on to earn people's respect. This awkward weirdo was likely his true self. His men would be horrified to see their boss making a total ass of himself like this. I bit my lip and stifled another laugh. I followed Ken closely with my eyes. His face was so earnest, but his climbing was utterly graceless. Thud! Ken jumped down and offered me the fruit in his hand. I immediately shook my head. No way, I didn't know if they were edible or poisonous. We could die from eating them. What even are they? Some kind of wild cherry? Yeah, thanks, Ken, our hero. I smiled at Ken. Navite? I smiled at him. They looked like cherries, but I was sure they weren't. There wouldn't be any cherry trees growing in this forest. When Kin saw my disinterest, he popped one of the fruits into his mouth. Hey! He immediately spat it out. I roared with laughter as his face crunched up in disgust. Ew! Kin dashed to the stream to rinse his mouth. I felt bad for him. He tried so hard to climb that tree only to discover the fruit was inedible. What the hell is this? It's full of sap, he grumbled. If we had gotten lost separately, I was confident I would have been the only one who survived. I looked after myself for most of my life. I was pretty confident in my survival skills. Meanwhile, Kin would probably get himself killed the first day on his own. He acted like he knew what he was doing, like he was some sort of, someone you could rely on. But in reality, he had no survival skills whatsoever. What made him think he could just eat any random thing he found in the forest? Kin glared at me. The hell are you laughing at? Why aren't you eating them? We wouldn't want all that effort to go to waste, I joked. Well, it was kind of worth it. I got to see you smile. Ken replied. He spoke so quietly I could barely make out his words. I didn't really care, though, so I continued chowing down on the banana in my hand. You really like bananas, huh? Ken said, lightly shuffling his feet closer to me. I'm eating what's available. There's no need to be fussy. It was the truth. We could die at any moment. How could we afford to be picky eaters? I've got a banana too, It tastes better than the one you're holding. Ken, I'm gonna call the police. La policía! Ken loved making sexual innuendos around me. The damn pervert. I threw the peel at his face. Ow. Screw you. Cut it out, Porsche. I'm still your boss. Boss my ass. I snapped, turning away. I couldn't stand seeing his annoying face any longer. Ken then stood behind me and leaned in closer to whisper coldly into my ear. Call me boss. The fuck? Is this allowed? I'm calling the police. I shivered before shoving hard at his chest, making him stagger backwards. You're not my boss. You're my burden. Fuck off. Ken just chuckled at me. Bastard. As I stormed away to the stream, I splashed cool water over my face and drank several gulps to clear my head. It's already getting dark. Do you want to wash up? Ken asked. I felt sweaty from walking all over the forest, so I glanced at Ken and pondered if I should do as he suggested. The forest was dark at night, and I was afraid to dip into the stream by myself. Even though Ken was here, I didn't really trust him. Well, do as you please. I'm gonna start a fire, Ken said as if he read my mind. Can he? He was about to leave and give me my privacy, but I didn't need it right now. The sky was darkening even further, and the eerie atmosphere creeped me out. I could admit I was afraid of ghosts. Oh my god, you're afraid of ghosts? I'm Ghost Bunny, sorry. It's not funny, but it is. Wait, I called out to him. Ken turned around, lifting a brow. Just stay here, and we can leave together. I stammered. I was reluctant to ask for his help, but I had no other choice. Ken looked around curiously at our surrounding. Are you scared? He teased, drawing into his words. I'm not scared. No, I said sharply. Okay, then can I leave then? Ken asked jokingly, turning and pretending to walk away. Wait! I called to him again. Ken turned back around and flashed me a shit-eating grin. Damn it. I still wasn't sure whether I should wash up or not and became annoyed at my own indecisiveness. Ha! Are you afraid of ghosts? Ken asked between giggles. I frowned. I just don't want to be alone. What if some animal attacks me? I lied. I didn't want him to know about my fear of ghosts. It was embarrassing. Someone like you shouldn't be afraid of anything, Ken said, laughing again. Fine, I'll stay with you. I don't want a tiger to come get you when you can't call me for help. He sat down on a rock near the stream. I wanted to punch him. A tiger? Why did he have to jinx it? And if a tiger did show up, what could a guy like Ken even do? That man was fucking useless. Turn around. Don't look at me, I commanded. Right now, I wasn't sure what was worse, the ghost or Ken. Or Ken the ghost. Traumatizing. Such a pain in the ass, Ken complained. Lightheartedly, though, but he did as he was told. I glanced at him one more time to ensure he wasn't looking, then stripped off everything but my boxers. I swore under my breath, wondering why I was acting like some kind of blushing virgin around Ken. We were both men, for fuck's sake. Brrr. I shivered as I waded into the stream. The water was freezing cold, but it felt refreshing. Don't stay in there for too long, or you might get sick again, Ken cautioned me. We both had our backs to each other. I walked a bit further into the stream, but didn't dare turn around to look at him. I was afraid those horrible memories would flood back, especially since I was half naked around him. It would just disgust me. I continued to cross the stream until I reached the bank on the other side, where I placed my palms together in a wide gesture to the trees before relieving myself there. A little footnote. In Thailand, it's customary to apologize or ask permission from the spirits of a tree doing something that might be disrespectful, like peeing on. Oh, he was peeing on the tree, so he's like, "Hey, tree, I just want to say sorry, but I have to." How do you say sorry in Thai? So like maybe kortot? Let me check. Do. Yeah, kortot. My Thai teacher will kill me. Pero yeah, that's how you say I'm sorry in Thai. Kortot. Kortot to the tree. Kortot to nature. The forest was unsettlingly quiet and dark. If I'd been alone, I'd have lost my mind with fear. I hurriedly dipped my body in the stream to wash myself, thinking how lucky I was. The moon in the sky provided a bit of visibility. Ken, I called out. He was so quiet I wanted to check if he was still there. What? He replied. Still with me? That was a relief. Nothing, I said, continuing to wash up. 5 minutes later, a sense of unease crept up on me again. Hey, Ken? Yes, I'm still here. I smiled slightly at his reply and heard him make swatting sounds, probably trying to shoo the mosquitoes away. I was thankful he had patiently waited for me instead of doing something to provoke me like usual. I was almost done cleaning myself when I realized I hadn't heard a sound from Ken in a while. I began to tremble, freaking out again. Ken? I called out. I waited for his fly. I waited for his reply, but none came back. Hey, Ken! I shouted louder, unease twisting my stomach. My body grew tense with fear, and I hesitated to turn around. Ken, this isn't funny! I was so petrified that my legs shook. It was already difficult to see in the dark forest, but the creepy vibes and the cold water made it feel like ghosts could appear at any second. Splash! Suddenly, someone or something emerged from the water and wrapped their arms tightly around me from behind. Ah! I screamed at the top of my lungs, terrified. You're afraid of ghosts, Ken said, cackling. I shakily took a deep breath to calm myself before turning around to shove him with all my strength. Son of a bitch! You almost gave me a heart attack, you asshole! I kept pushing him away, but his arms kept held firm around my waist. Finally, I gave him a hard shove that sent him tumbling backwards into the water, and he pulled me down with him, that fucker. I made a gurgling sound, swallowing water. Kin tried to stand and pulled me up with him. Then his arms returned to wrap tightly around my torso. Let go of me! I barked at him as soon as we regained our balance. Ken ignored me. He ignored my words. His gaze was fixed on me, and I unconsciously stared back into those dark eyes. Our faces were so close that it made my heart race uncontrollably. Nope, Ken stubbornly replied. He leaned his face even closer to mine, forcing me to jerk my head back. Ken, let go of me. Please, I don't want to think of that night ever again, I pleaded, trying to pry off his hand. I meant what I said. After spending the day with him, I'd already almost forgot about those painful memories. However, with his arm around me, images from that night threatened to come flooding back. Porsche, listen to me, Ken said, his tone serious. His arms stayed tightly wrapped around me, reminding me vividly of that fateful night. I felt the horror slowly creep back into me. I remained silent, unable to tear my eyes away from him. I was captivated every time I looked at him, like some kind of wicked magic in his eyes compelled me. Everything went still, save for my heart, which fluttered frantically in my chest. I didn't mean it, Ken said with regret. I didn't know I would cause you so much pain. His words were much softer than usual. He must have seen how shaken I was. When I didn't respond, Ken continued, I forgot to take your feelings into account. I know what I did was horrible, but I didn't mean for it to turn out this way. His firm yet gentle words echoed in my ears. The sincerity I saw in his face in the darkness made me believe he genuinely regretted what he did to me. I know you might not have a shred of sympathy for me anymore, and I understand, but I can't change the past. I wish I could turn back time. I don't want you to hate me. At least let me say one thing. Don't leave me, please. I frowned. He didn't want me to leave, but why? Please don't quit being my bodyguard, Ken whispered. I wanted to ask him why he was so fixated on me, on just one person. He did turn over every rock to find me and make me his bodyguard, so I guess he didn't want me to quit after all that effort he spent on me. Don't go unless I tell you. Can you do that? Ken pleaded. His plea sounded vaguely like a command, but it hit me hard. I didn't notice him leaning in closer until I felt his lips brush mine. Unsure of what to do, I stood motionless as a whirlwind of feelings tumbled through my head. I'm sorry, Ken said, evoking a warm sensation in my heart. He gently pressed his lips against mine once more, confusing me further. A part of me wanted to hate him and reject his apology, but another part of me told me to accept it. I slowly closed my eyes, finally accepting his gentle kiss. Ken nibbled slightly at my lower lip before delicately slipping his tongue inside. Ooh. Exploring my mouth and igniting a spark that spread through my entire body. This kiss was unlike any other we had shared. Before, there was no sense of force or coercion. It felt like a promise, an assurance that Ken's words were true. Without thinking, I let my emotions take control once again. I remained still and let Ken declare his feelings through his kiss. I didn't reciprocate his actions, but I didn't reject him either. My heart went into overdrive, like I might burst out of my chest. Ken eventually pulled his lips away, but he stayed close, his forehead touching mine. Are you cold? He asked. At some point, real. He released me from his arm in order to gently hold my face between his palms, brushing away the hair that fell over my forehead with his thumb. Mm-hmm. I hummed softly. Get to the river bank and wait for me. I'll wash up quickly, Ken instructed before moving away. Okay, I replied, emerging from the stream, confusion and disbelief swirling inside my mind. Why had I let Ken kiss me without protest? Why hadn't I pushed him away? Why? My thoughts were infuriating me. Why was I so conflicted? What had happened to make me feel this way? Damn it! I should hate him, fear him, be disgusted by him. He did horrible things to you, Porsche. Turn around, I told him. I'm gonna get dressed. Ken looked amused but did as he was told. I swiftly removed my wet boxers and pulled on my sweatpants and t-shirt. Why are you so quiet? Ken asked. How loud do you want me to be? We're in a forest, not a Tonglor dance club, I quipped, wringing the water off my boxers. It still shouldn't be this quiet. He insisted. I didn't understand Ken's logic. Did he think he was at the International Horticultural Exposition, where ambient music played where everywhere you went? Why don't you sing a song if you think it's too quiet? I remarked. Bantering with him like this made the atmosphere of the dark forest a bit less creepy. Are you sure you want me to sing? Ken joked. I saw that as a threat. Pero that was the end. Oh, wait. Beautiful image. Beautiful image. I was going to say that was the end because I didn't look at the other page. Oh, my God. Let me take a picture. It looks so beautiful. They look so beautiful. Okay, done. The photo's been taken. Save. It looks so good. Okay, so it's still okay. Why did it cut like that? Okay, what was that? Okay, yeah, Ken threatening with singing. I confirmed, thinking it would be better than sitting in silence. I wasn't particularly concerned with what Ken did as long as he was some kind of background noise. I was still scared of, as I waited alone in the shore. Ghosts could show up at any time. I just imagined Porsche in a Scooby-Doo episode. He'd be like, ghosts? Alright, how about this one? Oh, he's actually gonna be singing, okay. Hola, hey, hola, hook. I don't know. I'm mourning for you, my beloved Hikmak. I apologize to everyone who may know the song. I nearly grabbed my shoe to hurl it at his head. Okay, idiot, he was singing a lullaby from Nang Nak. Little footnote, Nang Nak, 1999, is a supernatural horror film based on May Nak Phra Kanong, a well-known Thai ghost story. Oh. So he's singing a song from a horror movie? It's like the equivalent of me going, da-dum, 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 da-dum. Oh wait, that's not a horror. Something like that. Just, I don't know horror movie songs. But it's the equivalent of doing one of those. Or the equivalent of singing like, it's a children's lullaby, so it's like, ring around the rosies, the pocket pillow posy, in the middle of the forest. Yeah, terrifying. He was singing it in a solemn and haunting tone, obviously trying to freak me out, so it was the equivalent of doing that. Can you, jackass, can you sing something else? Ken laughed. Forget ghosts, you should just be scared of these damn mosquitoes. There's so many of them, I wouldn't be surprised if we get malaria, he complained before falling silent again. I heard the sound of water sloshing. I assumed he'd gone to take a piss at the same place I did earlier. This entire situation fucking sucked. I would much rather be back at home in my soft bed. My bed feels so cold and lonely without my own presence in it. Could we get out of this forest? Did Ken's family know where their young master was? It was all stressing me out. My mind wandered as the silence continued to envelop us. Abruptly, Ken started singing again. When I see your face, I lose control. When you smile back, I'm shaking up. It happens every day. I have to hold myself back. I felt better hearing Ken's voice cut to the quiet of the dark forest. His singing was alright. Not great, but not bad. Either way, it was better than nothing. When I see your face, do-do-do-do, I lose control. Would it be wrong to catch your eye by chance? Do-do-do-do. I dream about you, baby, every single night. Tell me, please, what should I do next? Wait, the fuck, that's what I should be doing. The song's name is 1Y Shaken by Body Slam, a famous Thai rock band. And I gave it 0% accurate version. That's the not even close to accurate version. I'm so sorry to the original singers, and I'm so sorry to you who had to hear me. A moment of silence for all the ears that just killed themselves. But on we go. This Ken was way more cheerful than the Ken I knew, but I was starting to get used to this version of him. I was seeing sides of him I didn't even know existed. He was sillier than I thought. Did I sing well? Ken asked. You listen to Thai rock? I asked. Surprised, I assumed that someone with his lifestyle would prefer jazz. Do you listen to jazz? Or sappy ballads? Mi amor, cariño. I do, but I usually listen to Western pop music. I stuck to Thai because I was afraid you wouldn't understand English lyrics. You wouldn't understand English. What he's gonna sing? I want him to sing in English too. What song would he sing? You guys, what song do you think Ken was singing in English? He likes rock music, so let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the. I'm not gonna scream. Because then I'll get kicked out. And I don't want that. I frowned, trying to figure out if he was calling me stupid. Kinda was. Jerk, I retorted when I heard him snigger. I organized his English reports in the wrong order one fucking time. And he has the nerve to never let me let that down, asshole. Ken finally returned to dry land and immediately began to put on his clothes. The weather had cooled as night fell, prompting us to return to the cave where we had slept the previous night. Ken gathered some dried leaves and twigs into a pile and set them aflame, with the lighter boasting that this was his first time in a forest and he could already start a fire all by himself. Oh goody, our good boy is learning stuff. Yay, evolution. We love you. I wasn't sure if that was really something you should be proud of. He was a grown man. He should already know basic survival skills. What the hell is Pete doing? Ken grumbled as he lowered himself to sit in front of the fire. I don't know, maybe celebrating? I'm being worried as hell. Oh no. In case you forgot, Pete works for Tankun. Why don't you ask about Big? I asked curiously. I was the current leader of Ken's bodyguards, and Pete wasn't on my team anymore. Ken should have asked where Big was. Celebrating. Oh no. Ken seemed slightly taken aback. Well, whatever. Someone should come get me out of here already. I've never seen you act like this, I said, not looking at him. I pretended to focus on finding more leaves to add to the fire. Act like what? He asked, chuckling. Like this. What do you expect me to act like then? Ken asked, arching his eyebrow. I don't expect you to do anything, I replied. Ken seemed satisfied with my answer. For now. I honestly hadn't expected anything from him. I was genuinely surprised to see his goofy behavior, though, considering he acted so mature all the time. That's good. Ken said, leaning back against a rock and sighing contentedly. Contentedly. Yeah, that. I want to relax sometimes. I'm in my 20s. I'm only 1 year older than you anyways. Why do people expect of me? But you look way older than that, I joked. It was true. Everything Ken did in the forest conflicted with his mature appearance. Huh. Watch your mouth. Sometimes everyone... Yeah. Watch your mouth. Sometimes everyone's expectations just exhaust me, Ken said. I wanted to live my life like other kids, but look at my brothers. Tankun is a flake, and Kim barely comes home. Don't you think they give my father enough headaches on their own? I didn't need him to worry about me as well. I was stunned to hear Ken vent his feelings to me. It was probably the longest string of words I'd ever hear him speak. He seemed frustrated from striving to be the perfect son, especially considering he was the son of a mafia boss and a bitch. He was forced to shoulder a multitude of responsibilities and live up to many expectations. I sometimes forgot he was only a year older than me. Ken's life was far from carefree. After classes, he had to do paperwork and attend business meetings, and as his father's representative of the three sons, Ken was the only one I ever saw taking the family business seriously. I hummed in response. I'm fed up with trying to act stern and put up in front. Oh, Jesus. I'm fed up with trying to act stern and put up. Jesus, can I read? I'm fed up with trying to act stern and put on a front to make people respect me. But if I don't maintain the facade, all hell will break loose, Ken went on. But Tankun acts however he wants, I pointed. I can't be like him either. Look at him. Do you see anyone who respects him, fears him? People only fear his tantrums, Ken said with a hint of amusement. I don't want our business reputation to worsen. I want our competitors and partners to continue to fear and respect us. I nodded, agreeing with everything Ken said. I knew that respect was essential in the business. I had to admit that Ken's thoughts on the matter were rather mature. Aren't you frustrated? You say you have to pretend, so everything you do is just a front? I asked curiously. Yeah, that's just how it has to be. At least I can be myself when I'm alone or with my friends, or like right now, Ken said, briefly glancing at me before returning his gaze to the cave around us. I didn't understand what he meant, but I didn't object to him letting his guard down around me. I was glad he didn't have to pretend to be someone he wasn't. Yep. All right, I said. What about you? What about you? Do you realize you've been smiling and laughing more than usual? Ken asked, still unusually talkative. I'm laughing at your stupidity, I replied truthfully. Yeah, that's good. I frowned. What was good about that? It kept irritating me. Should we move to the forest? I'm starting to like it here, Ken joked. Knock yourself out, I replied before lying down on the... Jesus. I replied, lying down with my back against a rock on the opposite side of the cave. I was beginning to feel drowsy. Why don't you lie down here? Ken said, patting his chest. I flipped him off. Like hell, I growled. If you say so. Ken started singing that haunting tune again. Hola, hey. Hola. I covered my ears. Ken just laughed. You piece of shit! Hurry up and come here before the ghost gets you! Woo! Ken beckoned. I turned my back to him. I kept my hand pressed against my ears, but I could still hear him singing, Hola, hey, hola, hoo. I'm mourning for you, my beloved Pima. Again, my condolences to the original singers in the movie and everyone in the industry, because I cannot sing for the life of me. I squeezed my eyes shut and tried to drown out as much of his voice as I could. I rolled over to scold him, but was surprised to find he had scooted over to me, my face squashed against his chest. "What the hell? Get off of me!" I yelled, shoving at him. "Hola, hey, hola." I swiftly covered Ken's mouth with my hand to shut him up, and he took the opportunity to put me in by the nape of my neck and pressed my head against his chest. "Let me go, damn it!" I yelped, trying to wrestle my way out of his embrace. He kept his arm locked around me, leaning leisurely against a rock with his eyes closed. I noticed the hollow sound of wind outside the cave, and it freaked me out. My eyes started nervously to the darkness outside as I lay still against Kin's chest. "Hey, open your eyes," I commanded, while shaking his body. "Why?" Ken asked, opening his eyes and smiling languidly. "Don't fall asleep before I do," I said. It was Ken's fault for singing that creepy song. I'd always been scared of ghosts. One time I saw something lurking in the shadows at home, and I had to sleep in Chay's bed with him for like several days until I could go back to my own room. I was not easily fazed, and I was ready to face anything head on, anything except ghosts. I'd have a heart attack if I ever encountered one. "Shall I sing you a lullaby?" "Oh, Ken began singing, and I quickly slapped my hand over his mouth again. He chuckled in amusement. I kept my hands over his mouth as I laid my head on his chest once more. I would have been mortified if somebody happened to see us right now, two fully grown men cuddling each other. I wasn't sure if it was a good idea to sleep in Ken's arms, but it felt like he was keeping me warm, so I eventually let it go and slept soundly. I decided to stop hating Ken, at least for right now. After we got out of this forest, I'd be a different story. I was happy to see him be himself, though. It was reassuring to have the real Ken around. Okay, now I finished. Sorry. This is a page that had a weird ending. The other one. But, wow, okay. We don't hate Ken anymore. Still on a little gray area. But, this was a fun read. I liked it. It felt like a little splash of fresh air to the face from all the intensity we had the past few chapters. But uh I just keep seeing Ken trying to like get the fishies. But yeah, that's it for today. If you guys been liking my reading, my commentary, my everything, you've been liking, please like, comment, and subscribe. Um yeah, it's been fun. I hope to play this if you guys want to hear the previous chapters, or if you guys haven't seen the previous volume 1, there's an entire playlist is what I'm trying to say. There's playlists for this one, for KinnPorsche, Have an Official Blessing, Grandmaster Demonic Cultivation, Iron Widow, and so on and so forth. I'm reading. If you guys been liking, like, comment, subscribe, and do all the YouTube shenanigans, and yeah, that's it. Have a good day, night, wherever you are, however you are, and bye.